Alright guys, so I would have done the second part to this video, the next day from my first part, but found out my sister has cancer in her eye, so she brought her daughter here. I've been watching her for a few days while my sister was going around and going to different doctor's appointments and shit, trying to figure out what to do. She doesn't know if she's going to lose her eye or if they can do some treatment or something, but so they were off doing that. They just went and got my niece, or came and got my niece, so figured I'd just finish this little two-parter showing the rest of my equipment. This is my main amp, my my kind of holy grail as of now. One of these days I am absolutely gonna have to get a triple rectifier, because I keep hearing albums where people use that and it's like, that fucking tone, dude. I know if I got my hands on it, I could make it sound fucking badass. So this amp is pretty sweet though. I've actually played this against a dual rectifier and this blew the fucking dual rectifier out of the water completely. Like, it wasn't even a contest. It was insane. But this has four 6L6 tubes. It's 120 watts, tube power. I think four 512AX7s. I think four 12AX7s. Yeah, one for the clean channel, one for the lead, one for the rhythm, and then one for the effects loop. I need to change the tube for the clean channel because I'm getting a lot of crackling and just not really nice, clear, crisp sound out of it. So I want to see if I can fix that with a different tube. I got the 4x4 deal on there from my Jeep. Fell off a long time ago when I was washing it. 4x12 cabinet. Celestion G1275s, and 75 watt speakers with a high gain, metal kind of head. You can't really go wrong. 100 watt speakers are even better. The higher watt speakers, they handle the battering low end that you get with metal amps and metal tones. I don't EQ my amp like most pussies that are out there that, they crank their mids all the way up and then the fucking bass is like halfway and the treble's like halfway. No. I like my amp to fucking growl and snarl at people. So my settings kind of show these. Hair is treble, so you can see treble right there. Body is mids. So the mids aren't scooped all the way out. There's still quite a bit of mids. And sometimes I'll turn it up to, about right there if I needed to cut a little more. The bottom is almost all the way up. I think actually it might be all the way up, yeah. Because like I said, like you'll see, the overdrive pedal cuts out all the flub out of that low end and just leaves it nice and punchy. Channel volume, it's a ways up, but master volume is almost all the way down. It's like it's on one, literally on one. Second channel I don't use a whole lot, so the settings change all the time. That's my channel that's the channel I use when I'm doing sounds that are totally different than my own. Like if I'm going to do like a Foo Fighters song or Metallica song or something like that, I usually use the second channel and just tweak it till it sounds good. Clean channel, treble, mid, bass, volume, whatever. It's clean. It's fucking boring. Yeah. Cab. Got some shit behind this sheet here that I don't need people to see. So we'll start first guitar. That is my baby. This is my pride and joy. This is like my first real nice guitar, the Schecter C1 EX. It's a baritone 27 scale, but this one is unlike any other one that they did. I can't really find any information on this one. There was only a certain amount of these ones made, and then they changed how it looked. The other guitar only had the 12th inlay right here, just like this. All the rest of them were on it. The neck was bound and the headstock was bound, but I like mine the way it is because it's a fucking beast, and this guitar is the best sounding guitar I have ever played and probably will ever play. I mean, when you get in the studio and you're gonna play music that's anything below fucking drop D, get a longer scale guitar, and it absolutely will win every single time when you put it up next to other guitars to try to get your best tone in the studio. This thing sounds godlike. It's got a lot more clarity, more snarl. It's just better. I don't know. I can't really explain it. You have to hear it and feel it yourself. It's got more punch. So the locking Tunematic bridge, EMG 81. It's on most of my 6-string guitars. This is an EMG 81 in the bridge. Jazz pickup I don't really use in this one. I mean, for one, it's a passive pickup, and I have it connected to an active pickup's tone pot, which is, got a different impedance, and it just doesn't. It sounds muffled and doesn't sound good. So if I switched and had made that tone that is actually not really connected and not doing anything, if I changed that tone into a second volume for this one, I might be able to use the passive with the active, but usually it doesn't work very well because there's a significant volume difference between the two. But sometimes you want a little less volume when you go to the neck pickup. I know I do, usually. 24 extra jumbo frets. Can't tell, never have been able to tell if this is ebony or rosewood, like a super dark rosewood, or just ebony, because you can see grain in there, but I don't know, man. You tell me what you think, because a lot of people say, oh, that's definitely ebony, and then other people are like, oh, look at the grain. It looks like it's a rosewood. Maybe it's dyed. I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. Set neck construction. Shit happens. I always put stickers on my guitars and stuff. Ever since my ex tried to steal my guitars and take all my shit, just so I can be like, okay, my guitars have this, 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 and this on them. That's how you can tell it's mine. Trying to cover my bases. One of the reasons I don't know much about this guitar, okay, the guitar I had, when I first got it, it had a different serial number on the back of the headstock right here. And that serial number is actually taped inside the pocket right here on the guard there. But underneath, I saw that. Sorry, I can't get it really steady. Remember, I had shaky ass hands. But I found that and was like, what the fuck? Why does it have 2 serial numbers? So, and it has this little 3 on the top of the neck. It's just weird. I don't know. It's a mysterious guitar. I love it. That will stay with me for the rest of my fucking life. Unless someone tries to steal it, and then I'll just have to kill them. Here's the Jackson. The Jackson. Switched the volume knob off, took out the tone, Put the volume right there because it was in my way right here. A 3-way blade switch. Licensed Floyd Rose, which, you know, if I decide to keep this guitar, that I'll turn that into a real Floyd Rose, an original. But as it is, you know, a lot of people act like, oh, these are pieces of shit, they never stay in tune. These people are fucking idiots, and they don't know what they're talking about. They just don't know how to set up Floyd Roses, because this doesn't... the way it works is not any worse than fucking, you know, any other Floyd. It just has inferior materials. The wood isn't... or I mean, the metal isn't as dense, so there's not quite the same nice tone that you get out of the other ones. But I mean, it's not a terrible tremolo. I put a brass bridge block in the back of it, and it sounds a bit better. It's got a little bit more, I don't know, solid tone instead of that airy sort of weak. I don't know. That was one of the reasons I didn't really like this guitar, is the tone. It was just kind of weak sauce, and it just feels weird. EMG 81, EMG 85, one of the fucking thinnest necks ever. I mean, it is super thin, and it just, especially compared to some of my other guitars. 24 extra jumbo frets, rosewood fretboard, reverse headstock. It's all good. Of course, all my guitars have, you know, locking straps, strap locks, whatever. The ESP LTD EC1000, 2 volumes, 1 tone, Locking Tone Pros bridge, Locking Tone Pros stop bar, EMG 81, EMG 60, extra jumbo frets, rosewood fretboard with abalone inlays, pearl inlay in the 12th that says EC1000, and the whole guitar around the entire body, around, you know, around up the neck, around the headstock, all has abalone, you know, accents to it. This has a quilted maple veneer. Well, it's got a maple top, but it's got a quilted maple veneer over the maple top. So it still has the sound, but looks a lot sweeter. It's got it up here too. Picks. They have their own ESP locking tuners on them, which are great, to be honest. They're actually fucking wonderful. It has the volute, like every guitar on the planet should have. I don't know why there's any guitar made without a volute, because they just make everything better. Once again, sanded down the neck. It's a mahogany neck, you can tell. Got it all the way down pretty much to the mahogany, so it's nice and smooth now. You know, I'm not going to get rid of a guitar when I do something like this to the neck, like when I sand off, you know, the finish. So that's the guitars that are here. My other ones are back in my room. So from my guitar, use Monster cables, which are, you know, the best cables out there. Can't really go wrong with Monster cables, because if they break or do anything, you just take them back, they exchange them, you get a brand new one. Can't go wrong with that. I fucking love them. I mean, they're expensive, but it's totally worth it, because this one actually is one that I exchanged to get this one. So it's great. I loved it. I didn't even know when I first got them either. I just thought they were great cables. And then one broke, and I had it broken for like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years. And then at some guitar shop, the guy's like, yeah, bring it in, dude. I'll give you a new one. They have like a lifetime warranty on them. I was like, no shit. So, yeah. From the guitar, comes in here to the whammy pedal. From the whammy pedal into the wah pedal. I have them set up like this because it works better. Then this is the Dunlop Crybaby from Hell, and it's fucking awesome. You can pretty much make any tone you want on it. It's almost like the custom shop, the rack custom shop, but you can't, the parameters, you can't go quite as far as you can with the custom shop, but I mean, really all you need is right here. So I love this pedal. It's pretty sweet. Some people just like to set it and forget it, you know, and like pedals like the Zakk Wylde one because you just plug it in and fucking go and it has the right tone. But sometimes I like to switch up tones and, you know, change things and don't want to get pedal after pedal after pedal. So from that comes into the TU2 chromatic tuner, which isn't an amazing tuner. I mean, it's not bad by any means, but, you know, the TU3 is a little bit more accurate because there's more lights, so it tells you more incrementally of how good you are in tune. But the great thing about a lot of Boss pedals is they can power other pedals. So I have the main power source plugged in here, and then from right here I got daisy chain that goes to all my other pedals, and it powers all the other pedals. Same thing with the noise suppressors. They can power pedals too. That's what I was powering all these pedals with, was the noise suppressor. I got this compression sustainer, the CS3. It's actually a modded one, so it's a little different than a normal one. And I'm thinking I might need to switch it to the other side of my board. I think I have it in the wrong place. From here, transfers over to the overdrive because this is in the effects loop because it sounds like absolute dog farts when it's in the front end of the amp. It's absolute crap. I mean, it gets in its own way. It stumbles over itself, and it jumbles everything, and it sounds way too muffled and dark and just crappy. It just sucks. So it sounds a little bit better in the effects loop. I'll just make do with this thing for the time being until I can get something else. Maxon OD808, one of the greatest fucking overdrive pedals of all time. I usually have it set about right here for the 7-string because it has the passive pickups. I also do that with the Strat, but with my other guitars that have the active pickups, I put the overdrive all the way down, tone right in the middle, balance all the way up. Balance is the output, basically. And that just drives the front end of your amp harder, gives you a little bit more bite, and cuts all the fucking flub out of the low end of your guitar. If you play high gain metal and you don't have a nice overdrive pedal, you don't know what the fuck you're missing. It will save everything. So from that goes into the Phase 90, which has the script version and the regular version. These two pedals, the Neo Clone, you know, this just basic ass pedals. The depth is how much of the effect you want on. I usually have it turned up. It's just a switch. You can either have it kind of lightly affecting or highly affecting the tone. And this is the rate. I usually have the rate pretty low. But these two pedals are my only two pedals that I kind of have for the sort of swirly, sort of crazy tones that you kind of get from like Korn and bands like that, where they have these weird tones. And I figured out that, you know, because I can mimic a lot of some of their sounds with these two pedals, but one pedal that they use a lot is a Univibe, and it's one of my favorite tones ever. They turn it on a high rate, and it just kind of makes this cool warbling sound to the guitar. And for little accents and shit, it is the coolest fucking sounding pedal ever. So I really need to get one of those. and maybe a flanger too. And then I'll be able to get a delay pedal and shit like that. But this is what I have right now for my kind of cool effects, besides the whammy pedal, obviously, which is fucking awesome. There's so many things you can do with this. And then, of course, the Boss NS2, the old school version, not the newer ones that sound like shit. Make your guitar sound like shit. They just suck all your tone away. These older ones were 100 times better. And like I said, these things can power your pedals with a daisy chain. It's pretty kick-ass. Yeah, and from there up to my amp for total devastation, coming straight from here and battering people in the face. So that's pretty much, all my gear for now. If I get any more, I'll update you guys. And also, if you want like any rundowns on any of my gear, give a review or something like that on any of my guitars or my amp or things like that, get more in depth with them, then just comment, let me know, and leave a thumbs up, and keep watching. Rock the fuck on!